So I was recently having a chat with a friend. He's very successful, he works in marketing and he earns about £100,000 a year. And he was telling me that he'd recently got news that he was going to get a bonus. And obviously I said to him, look, that's great, that's really good news, but are you aware you're going to be taxed at 60% on that bonus? And he kind of just looked at me with a bit of a blank expression. And that's when it became very clear to me that he clearly didn't know he was going to be taxed so heavily on that bonus. And unfortunately, this is a conversation I have with a lot of people who are earning that sort of money. You know, they've got their career in order, they know exactly what they're doing from that perspective, but they really have a very difficult time on getting to grips with their finances and knowing if they are doing the right thing. So in this video, I want to explain exactly what the 60% tax trap is and how you can avoid it. But if you're new here, my name's Ben and I've worked in financial planning for the last 10 years, helping high earners get to grips with their finances and get a lot more clarity and confidence around their personal finances. So effectively, what the 60% tax trap is any money you earn between £100,000 and £125,000 is taxed at 60%. And when you add on to that the national insurance of 2%, that means you're effectively being taxed at 62%. So you're only getting 38% of that money you earn between those two brackets. And the reason for this is because every £2 you earn over £100,000, you lose £1 of your personal allowance. Now, everyone in the UK is entitled to the personal allowance, which is £12,500 for the current tax year. However, as I mentioned, for every £2 you earn over that £100,000, you lose £1 of that personal allowance. So that means that when your total income exceeds £125,000, you no longer have a personal allowance. And the reason this is taxed at 60% is twofold. The first is because you have lost your personal allowance, you've got more of your income taxed at 20%. So instead of having £12,500 taxed at 0% and £37,500 taxed at 20%, you're going to be in a position where, because you've lost your personal allowance, you've got £50,000 taxed at 20%. Now on top of that, you've got 40% you need to pay as tax, and that's the standard rate for anyone earning over £50,000. So when you add those two together, you are being taxed at 60%. Now the question is, what can we do about this? Now clearly, if you do need that money, let's say for example you have got a bonus and you've got that earmarked for school fees or for a new car, then clearly you are in a position where you need that money here and now. And I'm not going to be sitting here and saying you need to be saving that money or doing something with it in order just to save the tax. Because ultimately, if you do have a real need for that income now, then clearly you have no option but to pay that 60% tax. What can be done if you don't need that money? What can you do to save that 60% tax and set you up much better financially for your future? Now, the most common way to do this is through a pension contribution. And the reason for this is because every pound you put into a pension effectively comes off of your total income. So let's say, for example, you are earning £100,000 as a standard base salary, and then you've got a bonus of £25,000. So your total income for this tax year is £125,000. Let's say you put that full £25,000 into your pension. That means that for this tax year, HMRC deem your taxable income to be £100,000 as opposed to £125,000. By putting this money into your pension, you are effectively foregoing £10,000 because after tax and national insurance, that's roughly how much you will be left with from your bonus. However, you have got £25,000 going into your pension. Now, I know the first thing you're probably going to think is, okay, well, that's great, Ben, you've saved me 60% tax, but now I've got money in a pension which I can't access for maybe 10, 15, or maybe even 20 years. So I thought it'd be worthwhile actually showing you how that money can grow over the course of your working life to show you exactly how much money could actually be in your pension when you come to take money from it. What I've done here is I've shown you a £25,000 pension contribution growing at 5% a year over 5, 10, 15 and 20 years. So even if you are in a position where you're looking to retire in the next 5 years, for example, you can see how much that pension could potentially grow between now and then. Now, obviously, these are the gross figures, so the amount you're going to have in your pension before tax is deducted. Now, for most people that are earning around £100,000 whilst they're working, they're likely to be in a position where, based on current legislation, they're paying 20% tax when they come to retire. So, assuming you do pay 20% tax on any money coming out of your pension, you can see the net amount you would get after tax. So you can see here that even if you are only 5 years away from retirement, by sacrificing that £25,000 into your pension now, you are effectively foregoing £10,000 now and instead in a position where you could potentially, in 5 years' time, have £25,000. So that's 2.5 times the amount you would have now, just from waiting 5 years. And what this is simply is a tax arbitrage. So you are foregoing the 60% tax you would pay on that income now and deferring that tax to a point where you have a lower level of income and therefore you're paying 20% tax on it. So that 40% tax arbitrage is what you're seeing in practice here. Now, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer here, because ultimately everyone's situation is personal to them, and therefore it's very difficult to give a blanket answer in terms of what is the right thing to do. But ultimately, this hopefully shows you how much of an impact putting that bonus, for example, into your pension is for your longer term finances. Now, if you are wondering if you're on track to retire when you want to with the income you want, what I would suggest doing is looking at my free retirement calculator, and you can find the link to this in the description below. And what this allows you to do is you can go in and put your own details, so what your current income is, what your age is, how much you've got saved in your pension and other investments already, and how much you're contributing to a pension. And based on a broad set of assumptions, the calculator will then show you if you are on track to retire when you want to with the income you want. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video and got some value from it, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.